Hey folks, it's Lindsey Hustle with SPS back in the building, sitting here with my guy, Coach Rick Palmer, holding it down. The first day of basketball practice. I get a chance to come over to Birmingham, Brother Rice. Coach, thanks for welcoming me in to get to check you guys out. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Hey, I was inspired by your pregame, your pre-warm-up for the guys saying, hey, we can either go off like this or go high. I mean, so many great expectations. Talk about what's happening over here at Birmingham, Brother Rice basketball.
Yeah, there's high expectations for us this year, rightfully so. I mean, we have some very good players. But we've got guys that haven't necessarily practiced with us or played at this high of a level that our schedule has played at the high school level. So I think we're going to meet those expectations eventually. I just don't know if we're ready to meet them today on day one. Right. But as long as we get better, and it's not anything I'm worried about us not figuring out. It's just they haven't been taught some of the stuff we needed to teach them to compete at the highest level. So we'll get there. How quickly that'll be on them.
Right. Talk about managing expectations. When you have a program that's had success, people that have an expectation, you got some great talent here. How do you manage expectations outside of who's in the gym right now?
I mean, when I started this job 6 years ago, there was no expectations. So
I can't believe it's been 6 years.
I know. This is year 6.
Yeah.
So that's not fun. Just no one talking about you not having the players to compete at the level we wanted to compete at, and not having a culture established. There's high expectations, and that's better than having no expectations. So, I think the people look at us now like you state championship or bust, which is great. But that wasn't the expectation 6 years ago. Right. Did we even have a basketball program? So,
how did you get to this point?
Good players.
Good players.
Curtis Williams went first, right? He was the first guy to come to us, and he kind of set the tone. And he had some guys that wanted to play with him, and we graduated a group of guys that kind of set the culture and set the tone for this program.
Sure did.
The 3 of them are playing Division I basketball now as freshmen. So we're going to miss them, but we've got some good guys behind them. They're hungry, ready to show what they can do. And we've got some new pieces. So we've got a different team, a lot different team, but a team that should eventually earn those high expectations.
Yeah, I'm here, man, looking, and along with the players you have, even your coaching staff, you got some great support. Talk about the coaching staff you have.
So besides losing 3 Division I players, we lost two assistant coaches to head coaches. So Eric Evans is with us 4 years, and he's now the coach at UPrep Math and Science. And I know he had day 1 of practice today, so I talked to him this morning, and he's excited, ready to go. And then Chris Burns is now the head coach at Macomb Community College. So we didn't just lose three Division I players. We lost 2 really good coaches, but replace them with Rashard Porter and Josh Baker. It's kind of like adding Trevor Smith and Elijah Williams. So and then Laddie and Hazy. I've known, and Leon McDonald both went to Albion College with me. So I've known those guys a long time, and they've been outstanding too. Laddie's a 10-year head coach, and I think Leon's on year maybe 15 here. He was here before me. And they're both, besides being great coaches, the guys love them, and they're unbelievable mentors and men. So,
that's important.
We've got a great group.
You talked earlier on about figuring out how this is going to happen. Ideally, how do you want this team to look?
Well, I know we're going to look longer, more athletic, and we're going to play faster. That I think we just got a different team. So the guys that left, I mean, not Jonathan, but Kurt and X were great players, but they weren't necessarily, high flyer, super, speed wasn't their, their bread and butter. So we got some guys now that the best thing they do is run, and we've got length. So I think you'll see us playing faster. Hopefully we can do some things defensively to allow us to be able to do that against the teams in our league. But the main thing is, everyone talks about how good we were offensively last year. We had an elite defensive team in the half-court man-to-man last year. And those guys really, Curtis Williams and Jonathan Blackwell, are playing as freshmen in a high major level because they know how to guard. And right now, that's where we're the most behind. And not because we can't get there, just we haven't taught the things that Kurt and Jonathan and those guys learned over 3 or 4 years. So that's going to be the big thing. I think you'll see a more together team. I think you'll see a team with better chemistry. And I love those guys that left, but this is an easier group to coach every day.
How so?
Just the different group.
Different
personalities, and those guys were super competitive and ultra competitors, and sometimes the competition level in practice they're so worried about Kurt and Jonathan are so worried about going at each other. They're not hearing the coaching staff, and not in a bad way. I don't want to say that it sounds negative.
You got elite problems.
We had just a different group. This group is the easiest group I've ever been around. Not just at Brother Rice, but AAU, college, high school assistant. This is the easiest group to coach I've ever been around through the summer and the fall. They're just a bunch of yes coach guys, and they can lead each other. They let each other lead each other. They'll hear each other as teammates. It's a special group. So regardless of what our record looks like, I'm going to enjoy the heck out of being around these guys every day. They're a fun group to be around.
That's awesome. I'm going to get to see you in a couple of weeks, December 1st, the Horatio Williams tip-off over at North Farmington. Who you guys matching up against?
We got UPrep, and they've got a very, very good team. I think they got 2 or 3 Division I players. And we played Ferndale 2 nights before, and our opening night here. Got the defending state champs here. Yep. So we're off to it. We're off. Those first the first week are going to be tough. And again, they've got some guys who have been in their program and know what they're doing. We've got some guys like that, but we've got some key pieces that don't. So this 2.5 weeks is going to be big to try to get us as acclimated or close to ready to go as possible.
That's good. That's good. Well, starting off, people have been saying a lot of great things about you, and it's obviously the opportunity is there with these great players you have. Is it a bread on the bus type situation right now?
We just want to get better tomorrow, and I know that sounds like coach speak. We've had a great practice so far today. We talked about day one enthusiasm to start the day. So everyone if your gym's not live today on day one, you got real problems. So
I did hear you say that come February, maybe that downtime.
There's some days where we'll be in the stretch of our league and it's cold outside, and you get to school before it's sun out, and it's gray and it's dark when you get home. And you don't go 8 days without seeing the sunlight, and I'm yelling at you for 60 straight days. They look at me like, what are we doing? And that's when I go to, let's have day one enthusiasm. Let's be jumping off the walls. Let's be excited like we are today. So if we could bottle this up and sell it, that would be great. But I'm sure that's similar to everywhere. But
everything is a microcosm. It's just your situation and what's going on. Well, you're doing a great job. I've enjoyed watching you. I cannot believe it's been 6 years.
I know.
It just goes.
Those guys were, but sometimes it felt like it was 20. I mean, the coaches in our league felt like these guys are, when you have freshmen that played as a bigger role as like Kurt and Xavier did, and Henry Garrity and those guys. They feel like they're there forever. Like Sonny, I felt like I coached against him for 7 years. It was only 4, so it was a fun group, but I think we got a chance to look to be just at that same level we were last year, playing in big games and trying to get them done.
I love it. With that being said, I appreciate you again welcoming in. This is an exciting thing. Anybody want to give me special shout outs to before I let you go?
My assistants, obviously we talked about them, but I don't know there's a lot of coaches in the country that can feel comfortable on day one jumping in here for 10, 15 minutes and not worry about what's going on behind them.
That says a lot. Instead of you doing an interview like this, they're
probably getting more done right now with me up here than they did with me stepping on their toes. So with that staff, they're unbelievable. My athletic director too. He
say his name again.
Jeff Calcaterra. He's the best. He's the best in the business. And then I've done a couple of these, and people have asked me to shout people out, and then my kids get mad at me. So I want to shout out my 3 kids and my wife.
Say their name. Say their name.
MVP, Megan, my wife's been with me since we were freshmen in college, and as I was a GA and a college assistant, she moved around the country with me, and now we're home and made her home here. And then my son Trey is 10, and then my daughters Maggie and Layla are 8 and 6. So we got our hands full. She knows today through March she steps into she's the MVP role all 12 months, but the next 6 months she really takes it on and takes care of everything there.
And let me give you credit, because you're the first guy who did it at the beginning of the season. Most guys do it at the end of the season. Good for you.
Well, there might not be a mic in my face at the end of the season. I only get to sit in this seat after games if we win, so I'm hoping to be seeing you in a couple weeks.
I got a feeling you'll be sitting down, man. Hey, always a pleasure. This is Lindsey Hudson over at Birmingham Brother Rice, and you can see why they're having good things. They have great leadership and Coach Rick Palmer. With that being said, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Thank you.